Hello everyone, my name is Michael SK, and welcome back to Umineko When They Cry, episode 6, where the game has truly begun, this time for real, and Battler is still kind of seemingly having his crisis with having to deal with the fact that the Beatrice that he knows very well is for sure long gone, and the Beatrice that was reborn is definitely not ever going to be like the Beatrice he knew. We don't necessarily have 1,000 years to kill, but you also got to consider what is that 1,000-year period, equal to in real time. Is the 1,000-year period the 6-year period that Battler decided to dip out of the Ushiromiya family? Is it something else? We'll have to just keep grinding along here. We also saw a little bit of Ange as she continues to read for Featherine, or whatever the hell her name is. And, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Oh, you know what? No. As we got started with the game, oh my gosh. So, Kanon decided, all right, well, I'm going to stop being annoying, and actually went out of his way to just tell Jessica how he felt. No more being a shy boy. He became a not-so-shy man. And for that, I applaud him.
お紅茶でもお入れしましょうか。
熊沢さん、知りたいことがあります。
はいはい、何でしょうか。
So this is the new Beatrice, which I'd gotten a little confused in the previous video where in the beginning, Battler was actually talking with, I think, the piece that will be playing in the game of Beatrice, which is no different than what we're seeing here at Kumasawa and Genji.
私はベアトリーチェという名前なんですよね。
I also just woke up from like a long-ass nap before recording this, so bear with me. I woke up and I was like, I gotta figure this out. I gotta know what's going on here.
でも、お父様が口にするベアトリーチェという人物は私のことではありません。
それは。
お父様は私にその人であってほしかったように思います。だから、私がその人にどれほど似ていても失望されたのではないでしょうか。
そんなことはございませんよ。お嬢様はお嬢様、ベアトリーチェ様ご自身ですとも。新しくお生まれ変わりになるとき、以前の記憶を失ってしまっただけでございますよ。たとえ記憶をなくされようとも、お嬢様はベアトリーチェ様、親方様の愛されるお方と同一人物でございますとも。
Okay, so like, truly, I think Kumasawa's onto something here. The thing is, and I want to stand by this. I actually need to add this to my my predictions that I'm still keeping up with, even so we're a little deep into the answer arcs here. I want to keep up with my predictions list. But I do believe that the Beatrice that was reborn here is pretty much the Beatrice that we first saw in the story in some sort of fashion, which should be a huge hint here.
その記憶というのはどうやれば取り戻すことができますか？
それは。
Beato looked at Kumasawa with hopeful eyes as though praying that she would tell her the way. Kumasawa averted her gaze unhelpfully, as though trying to say that she'd like to if only such a way existed.
取り戻すことができないなら、せめてお父様の愛したベアトリーチェがどのような人物だったかを教えてください。
それならお話はできますけれど。
私はお父様のために生まれてきました。
Okay, that seems important.
だからお父様の望む黄金の魔女ベアトリーチェになりたいんです。
So, can we interpret this red text a little differently than how it's being interpreted here? Because here it feels like, okay, Beatrice was reborn so Battler would be happy, but I'm trying to see if maybe we can kind of warp that into like, why does Beatrice exist in the first place?
ベアトリーチェ様。
私に魔法は使えません。でもお父様の望む魔女が使えるなら それを学びましょう。私はお父様の望む魔女になります。それがお父様に産んでもらったことへの私が示せる唯一のご恩返しです。
けなげじゃない。1000年を間違えなきゃ最高にいい子だわ。
魔女のヒナ、なかなか面白きかな。気に入ったぞエンジェ。そのヒナの娘に我が諸子を許すがいい。魔女の世界へ帰る扉を開いてやるがよかろうぞ。
彼女自身にかつての彼女の物語を朗読させようというわけね。なるほど、私も知りたいわ。黄金の魔女ベアトリーチェを作る物語。
Okay, well, I guess things are about to get a little weird in terms of, like, the timeline of events again.
いいでしょう。あなたが望むならば、扉を再び開きましょう。
熊沢さん。
A golden splash welled up around them. It was a cloud of gold butterflies. Oh, well, okay. I guess I wasn't necessarily Peace Kumasawa, this was just Vergilia. With a flash of gold, the form of the old lady transformed into that of a witch in a dress.
あなたの進むべき道は、それはおそらくバラの道。美しく咲き誇ったバラがあなたを祝福するかもしれないし、しかしそれでもあなたがいつかたどった道、その結果同じ1000年を経てもいい、異なる1000年を経てもいい、望むなら道を引き返してもいい。
進みます。私はこの庭で1000年お茶を飲んでいるだけで過ごしたくないんです。お父様のためにこのベアトリーチェは生まれてきました。だからお父様のために生きようと思います。教えてください、黄金の魔女。
The great witch spread her arms, communicating the other's unbending determination to the brilliant heavens. At that moment, a brilliant light covered the two of them, and before they knew it, they were in a strange study. So are they just, like, allowed to be here with Ange and Featherine, or...? There sat the master of this library, the great old witch and her Miko. Vergilia gave a deep and elegant bow. I guess so.
拝謁、至極光栄に存じます。尊厳なる感激と戯曲と傍観の魔女、フェザリーヌ・アウグストゥス・アウローラ卿。
Okay, she said Featherine, so I'm not going to do an I sound. I'm actually going to go for the E as an I sound.
表を上げよ、人の子よ。
That's my inconsistent consistency, I guess you can call it, because I do not do that with all these names here that are actually English.
その娘にしばしの間我が諸子を自由に閲覧する資格を与えようぞ。我が巫女エンジェ、その方に世話を命ず。
はいはい、お任せを、我が主。素直にそなたの物語が見たいと言えばいいのに。
感激の魔女の巫女よ、ベアトリーチェをお預けします。
よろしくお願いします。
Yeah, kind of, you know, meeting each other again here.
あんたのなろうとしているベアトリーチェは彼女なりに何かを苦しんでいたわ。少なくとも今のあなたはその何かから解き放たれている。自らその枷を取り戻すために旅に出るの。
はい、私は黄金の魔女になりたいんです。それが私の生まれてきた理由です。
彼女の煉獄を巡る旅が快適であるよう、そして保護が与えられるよう、無限と有限の魔女プブリウス・ワルギリア・マロの名において要請します。
I don't think we've ever been given that full ass name for Vergilia before.
感激の魔女の巫女にして無限の魔女、半言の魔女見習い、 エンジェ・ベアトリーチェの名において了承する者なりやと奉ったり踏んだり蹴ったり。
Feathering snorted.
あなたもベアトリーチェという名を？
In a weird way, yeah.
ええ、あなたのことはよく知ってるわ。
教えてください。私がどんな私だったのか。
ええ。だから教えて、あなたがどうしてあなたになったのか。
Okay, a little bit of, teamwork here. There's something to gain on both sides.
この書庫にはこれまでのそなたのゲームの物語のかけらがすべて書物として収められている。それを読むことでそなたはこれまで何があったかのすべてを知る。
それを読めば私は黄金の魔女になれますか？
I mean, you'll become a person or a version of yourself, let's say, that you are currently not.
黄金の魔女を継承するには黄金の碑文を解かねばならぬ。そしてその試練はたとえベアトリーチェ本人だとしても免れることは許されぬ。
頑張ります。ですから私に書庫の本を読ませてください。
本当にけなげだわ。わざわざあんなのになんで戻りたがるんだか。
その私がどんな自分だかは知りません。でもその自分がお父様のお役に立てるなら私はそれになりたいです。
Ange sighed resignedly. No words would stop this girl's feelings of respect. Ange was the Miko of the Witch of Theater Going. She could do nothing but watch over the stage. That's right. They weren't actually interfering with the play. This was just a bit of directing to shine the spotlight onto the tale of Beato's past. Even this was nothing more than the Witch of Theater Going watching a play. I mean, anything that happens to this version of Beatrice, like, it's not going to change anything with the game that Battler has prepared. If anything, it might create more context for something.
しかしそこから何を得られるかはそなたが決めるがよい。書庫にとどまるも自由、立ち去るも自由、再び戻ることさえも自由だ。その対価として私はそなたを感激する。
感激とは？
要するに好きにしていいって意味よ。
ありがとうございます。青草、
You alright there?
フェザリーヌって呼ぶと喜ぶわよ。
Yeah, don't actually try to say her full last name, because I'm even struggling with that.
ありがとうございます。フェザリーヌ様。
After being welcomed in by Featherine, Beato left on a journey to discover herself, or more like rediscover. That tale connected the old tale with the new one. It wove them together. The 1,000-year-old tale about her return to its starting point, becoming a snake eating its own tail. The ring of that snake began slowly, bit by bit, to turn into the shape of a small island floating on the sea. And that was Rokkenjima. The 1,000 years of the witch born on this island were tied to the island. Was it 1,000 years or just 6? Or did this tale start even further back into the past? Beatrice went out on a journey to find herself. It's also worth noting that, like, the real Beatrice supposedly died in the story that we were shown by Rosa in episode 3. So, just another thing to consider that, yeah, Beatrice was long gone as an actual person, you know, way before Battler entered, like, the spotlight in any shape or form. The wind had been strengthening since a while back. The breaking waves had grown fierce. The ferry boats probably wouldn't be coming for a while now. The crashing thunder told that the island had been sealed off from the outside world. A thick rain poured down, mocking the fools outdoors who had had to rush pathetically to find shelter. Excuse me. No longer would anyone be able to leave this island, and no longer would anyone be able to reach this island. No one unless blessed with a miracle. Yeah, in comes, Erika, you know. It's been so quiet without her until now. There was another flash of lightning. The retinas of all who saw it were filled with white. As that white faded away, an eerie shadow pulled itself up amidst the raging waters of the beach. As though suddenly remembering to do so, it coughed violently several times, filthily spitting out the seawater that had filled its stomach. She then tore apart the touch fastener of her life jacket, and threw down the reason that she had been able to float here without so much as a thank you. Yeah, maybe focus on, you know, not dying. Okay, now you're good. Now you can laugh.
いつも変わらぬ嵐での艦隊、実にグッドです。さあ、楽しませてもらいますよ、バトラさん。
Hey, that's Battler Sama to you, actually. Oh, we're already done with this chapter. Cool. Man, we're just making progress. Let's go. Well, we're on to the 4th chapter now. See, before you guys know it, we'll be making the annoying guess. God damn it. That's so true. We'll be making ridiculous progress before you guys, you know, believe it. News of the drifter Furuto Erika quickly spread across Rokkenjima. Erika had been welcomed in politely, and it was decided that she would be treated as a guest until the typhoon passed. I heard the chime. The chime of, you know, her existing here. Fell from the pleasure boat Eternal Maid II mid-cruise in the waters near Rokkenjima. I don't know if that's actually consistent with what happened last time. But she washed up on Rokkenjima on October 4th, 1986. The Ushiromiya family welcomed her as a guest. She managed to drift to the island unharmed thanks to several miracles, including the life jacket that she was wearing. Also noticing here that they've got Kinzo grayed out. So, let's read this. The H-head of the Ushiromiya family is already passed away, but Kraus and Natsuhi's locked room illusion is making it look as though he is still alive. Therefore, there is no longer any need to include him in the number of people on the island. Without him, the number of people on the island drops from 18 to 17. However, the number returns to 18 after welcoming in the guest known as Erika. However, she's not going to be a suspect. She's not actually a part of the original stories, so still only 17 people to consider, and Battler's already been ruled out as, you know, the criminal here in any shape or form, I think. So the number might be back down to 16. Hard to say. I want to say also that everybody's information here is relatively the same. It seems to be the case. I'm not seeing anything different about our problematic ones here. Nothing here with Ava, who's also problematic to a sense. Yeah, I think everybody's pretty much the same. Alrighty. In the dining hall, Goda's wonderful dinner had ended, and everyone was relaxing and enjoying some after-dinner coffee and cheese. Apparently, Battler was a bit relieved that Erika had come and turned into a good scapegoat. It drove away some of the attention that he'd been getting piled on him for finally coming back after 6 years. In fact, she turned out to be very talkative. When the conversation turned to a sophisticated discussion of the mystery genre, even the adults were drawn in. She was apparently so well-versed that even Nanjo, who had a vast knowledge of the subject, was impressed.
確かにな。嵐の孤島に洋館に不気味な一族。そこに雨宿りの探偵とくりゃ、もうお膳立てが揃ったも同然だぜ。
ご安心を。どんな難事件であっても解決してお見せしますので。
Yeah, you did such a wonderful job of doing that in the last one.
それが探偵の務めです。
頼もしいじゃないか。むしろ何か怪事件が起こってほしいものだね。犠牲者役はごめん被るが。
あなた不謹慎です。
Yeah.
人間のミステリーの歴史なんてほんの100年足らず。そのトリックもアイデアも ほんの数種の焼き直しですでに描くべきことなどありません。いかなる不可能犯罪、密室殺人が起ころうとも、すでに類型化されているどれかのトリックを形を変えただけに過ぎないのですから。まあそれでもミステリーが読み物として現代でも通用するのは、古典もろくすっぽ読まない付け焼き場の自称マニアが自分の不勉強ゆえに知らない古典トリックをさも新鮮であるかのように勘違いして大騒ぎしてるだけなんですが。
Everyone couldn't help but gape at this imposing claim. If an age critic had said it, well, that would have been one thing. But to think that a young person like this could say it so boldly.
ミステリーなんてもう半世紀も前に終わったジャンルなんです。私に言わせればですが。でも不勉強なバカばっかりのおかげで私は探偵面ができるというわけです。
それを言ったら恋愛なんてシェイクスピアの時代に完成されてて、以後は読む価値もないってことになるぜ。
そうですね。じゃあロミオとジュリエットさえ読んどけば恋愛なんてもう理解できたも同然ってことじゃないんですか？
So the last and only time that I read Romeo and Juliet was my freshman year of high school. And, whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Yeah, I hated it. And it's really stupid in my opinion. But I think that's kind of also the point. Maybe just understanding how foolish romance is, especially at a young level. Yeah, I don't know. It's been a long time. I plan on never touching that again, but, yeah, I've never really delved into romance in the form of, like, a book or anything like that. So, maybe I'm not allowed to have an opinion on the matter.
そんなわけねえさ。本は読んだ数を競うものでもねえが、さりとてこれで十分だと威張るもんでもねえ。過去の古典の話ばかりで新書を読まねえのは、いわゆる悪しき解雇主義じゃねえのか。それこそ読書をサボる年寄りどもの言い訳だと思うぜ。
そうですね。私もバトラさん程度には本を読まないと言いまかされちゃいそうです。
俺本なんか読まねえし。
Battler chuckled, but Erika knew from the previous game that Battler was actually quite an avid reader. So his words felt like more of a challenge.
そんなにも推理自慢ならクイズとかパズルとかは得意そうだね。
ああ、マリアさ、ほらクイズとかの本持ってなかったっけ？
Realizing that Erika's arrogant statement had made the atmosphere a little more tense, George smoothly changed the subject. I feel like I don't think it's necessarily going to be a case of like the characters are going to dogpile on Erika because, you know, Battler is creating the story and he's going to push for the characters to, you know, kind of go after Erika a bit to annoy her. But it does kind of seem like Erika is going in a bit of a different direction here at the introductory stage, and so is everybody else to an extent. By now, it was more than clear that she wasn't the cute guest that she had appeared to be. Maria pulled a book out of her bag that had quizzes and puzzles written on it and started reading them to everyone. It looked like it might turn into a peaceful quiz party, but of course, that isn't what happened. As a credit to all her big talk, Erika managed an impressive ratio of correct and immediate answers. She took complete control, and her bragging began to escalate more and more. George slightly regretted the choice that he'd made when changing the subject. No, she doesn't seem annoyed, but she's definitely putting her foot down as like, hey, I have the big brain here.
106回です。トーナメント表を書くまでもありません。
The question, how many matches would you need for a tournament with 107 teams, was answered instantly by Erika.
これは問題というより知識です。参加チームから1を引いた数が必要な試合数という公式がありますので、まあ例題の4チームなら3試合、8チームなら7試合という数字を見た時点で法則性に気づいて当然ですが。
エリカすごい。
エリカお姉ちゃんでしょ。言ってごらん。
エリカお姉ちゃんすごい。
大したもんだな。なるほど。自称探偵は伊達じゃねえってわけだ。
Yeah. There'll be more reasons for that.
気取るつもりならこの程度は。
すごいね。きっと将来は本物の探偵になれると思うよ。
まあ、もうそのつもりですが。
The cousins all thought about the answers to the questions, but Erika always answered first. Rosa thought it was a bit rude for Erika to say the answers out loud while people were still thinking, instead of keeping them to herself. But since Erika was a guest, she decided against mentioning it. In truth, Erika was perfectly aware of this when she answered the questions instantly. Each time, she would grin broadly, as though saying, "You all still haven't solved such an easy problem."
エリカちゃんは名探偵さんなんだから、あまり本気にならなくてもいいんじゃない？
そうですね。子供向けの問題なのにムキになってしまいました。気をつけますので、次の問題をお願いします。
よーし、今度は負けねえぞ。マリア、次の問題を頼む。
So,
大きなチーズが1個あります。
where's the letter from Beatrice, you know? Where's that at?
それをナイフで1回切り分けると2つになります。では、8個に切り分けるには最低何回切ればいいでしょう？
あ、僕はこれ知ってるよ。
George, we gotta talk about that fucking pose, bro. You're gonna create some problems. Trust me, I know.
だから黙ってよっかな。
George, acting like the adult he was, set up a mood that would prevent people from answering right away even if they knew the answer, in effect sending a warning to Erika. It seemed that Erika understood, and she averted her gaze, snorting derisively.
8個なら4回で切り分ければよいのでは？バカね。それが答えだったら問題にならないじゃない。
Wait, you know what? Let me take a crack at this too here, you know? Let me give this another read here. So we have one large piece of cheese. A single slice of the knife can split it into 2 parts. So what is the lowest number of slices you can make to cut it into 8 parts? Okay, yeah, let me visualize this, guys. I'm smart. So if one creates 2 slices will create... That should create your 4, right? And then if you do a 3rd slice, that should get you to 6. Right? It should, right? I have to... Yeah, so I understand the logic that that Natsuhi's coming in with here. But I wonder if there's actually a different way to, like, slice it. If you can, like, slice it twice or something, and that will somehow get you your 8 pieces. But I don't think so. Or maybe 3. Because if you do, like... 2 to the 3rd type of idea, you know? Let's see how they go about this. I don't want to try and solve this shit. I'm too tired.
そういうことだな。こういうのは想定の回数より少なくできるものと相場が決まっている。しかし、どうすればいいやら。
I don't know. I don't usually cut cheese.
ああ、わかったわかった。
Like a wheel of cheese, right?
こりゃチーズだからできることだね。
そうね。バースデーケーキでこれをやったら大喧嘩になるわね。
そうやな。
Yeah, wait a minute. Actually, that's true. If it's like a big old piece of cheese, it's not necessarily going to be a case of like, okay, you have to cut it like it's cake. Can't you turn it on its side and like, you know, do something there? More of a 3D approach to it, maybe. But even if you do it that way, if you cut it in half, you know, through its side, let's say, and then you cut down the middle like it was cake, I mean, you're still going to be left with 4 slices. But then if you do another cut, that would get you 6 still, right? I feel like it would. I don't think that would be the 2 to the 3rd that I'm looking for here.
チーズならともかくケーキを切るにはその切り方じゃあかん。
みんな答え分かってんのかよ。くそ、分かんねえの俺だけかよ。
あー、わかった ぜ。なるほどね。
God
3
damn
次
it.
元で考えなきゃダメなんだ。
I was on the right track.
うわ、ジェシカまでわかんねえ。どうすりゃいいんだ。
マリア、答えわかるよ。ここに書いてあるもん。
こら、マリアだって答え見るまでわからなかったでしょ。わかる？バトラ君。
なるほど。私にもわかりました。これはチーズだからこそできることですな。
うえ、南條先生まで分かっちゃったのかよ。ひょっとして俺だけが分かってない？
バトラさんの頭も少し火を通せばチーズみたいに柔らかになりそうですね。
ナイフは0回で手でちぎれるとかそういう答えじゃないんだろ？
んなわけねえぜ。ナイフ以外では切れないチーズってことで。
チーズを立体的に想像するんだよ。難しいなら紙ナプキンの裏に絵を描いてみるのもいいかもね。
大きなチーズが1個あるんだろ。それをナイフで8つに。ナイフは直線じゃなきゃ切っちゃダメ？
そうよ。ナイフは直線に切るだけ。まあでもヒントね。切り方は直線にじゃなきゃダメだけど、どこを切るかは自由なのよ。
どうやってナイフを入れればいいか。少々ひねくれたやり方を
Okay, the
想像
fact
した
that
方がい
like
い
everybody
か
except
な。
Battler is like on board with this definitely does not make me feel as smart as I did like for the split second that I felt like I understood the approach to it.
バトラ君のお手並みを
Unless there's
拝見
another
だ
way to go about it. You have a large piece of cheese. How many times must you cut it with a knife to make 8 pieces? You could obviously do it in 4 cuts. Could it be done in even fewer cuts than that? Are hints so far to it being possible specifically because it's cheese? If it was a birthday cake, you really wouldn't be allowed to do this. I mean, you can, it's not right.
チーズだからできる技？
My man.
わかったすっかり騙されたぜ。頭が硬えとダメだな。
ようやくひらめいたようですね。それが正解だといいのですが。
チーズはナイフ以外では切れないんだよな。ナイフは直線だけで切るんだよな。それ以外に何も条件はないよな。なあ。
特にない。
よっしゃ、間違いない。ひでえ問題だぜ。これはまるで謎だ。
上から切るばかりがノーじゃないってことだぜ。上から2回切って4分割。その状態で側面から切れば上段と下段に分かれて4分割が倍の8分割。
立体で考えないと出せない答えだね。つまり正解は3回さ。
そうなのか？
Okay, well, he is not on the same page.
俺1回だと思ってたけど。
そらどんな魔法や。
Yeah, let's actually hear his thinking here. I'm
いくら
curious.
なんでも1回は無理や。
これは謎じゃなくて普通に算数的な問題よ。
そうなのか。3回ってのはすぐに思いついたんだが、それじゃ簡単すぎて問題にならないと思ってひねりすぎたか。
バトラの答えの方が5本の答えより少ない。バトラが正解？ええ、そうです。
Oh.
バトラさんが正解です。正解は1回です。
Battler was happy that someone had confirmed his answer. However, at some point, Erika's face had lost its cheeriness.
私以外に1回と答えられる人間がいて、それがよりにもよってあなたとは。
エリカも答えは1回なのかよ。どうやらお前も相当ひねくれてるみたいだな。
1個のチーズと聞いて、その形状を決めつけるのは実に愚かしいことですので。
できるわけないわ。お兄ちゃんの勘違いでしょ。3回未満でどうやって8等分するのよ。
愚かしや人の子よ。8つに分けろとは言っているが、等分にしろとは問うていない。
Yeah, I wasn't thinking they had to be either, but how would you still, like, reduce it from 3?
それにしたって不可能でしょ。ナイフ以外の方法できるの？
Yeah, like, are you able to cut it with something else and then make the single slice with a knife?
ナイフ以外では切れない。ナイフは直線に切らねばならないと。しかし逆に言えばそれ以外に条件はない。いや、そもそもチーズの形さえも示されてはいない。
I mean, in my head, I was always thinking of, like, a wheel of cheese. I don't know why.
そうか。みんなは大きなチーズが1個って聞いて、カマンベールみたいな平べったい円筒状のものを想像してたのか。
I mean, from my, neck of the woods, we have just big old cubes of it. Or I guess it's more like rectangular shapes, but either way, a block of it.
俺は朝食のトーストの上に乗せるスライスチーズを想像していたぜ。ナイフで切り分けるような立派なチーズとは普段縁がねえからよ。
チーズの形状に条件は示されませんでした。出題者のミスです。おそらくマリアさんのその本にはいわゆる平べったい円筒状チーズの図面があるはずです。ある。ほら。
As Erika had guessed, the book Maria held had an illustration of a piece of cheese just as Erika had described it. With cheese of this shape, 3 slices would really only be the correct answer. Well, you would cut it in a plus pattern from the top to make 4 pieces, and then cut it from the side to double that and make 8. However, since this illustration hasn't been shown, the interpretation of the cheese had been left to the answerer.
確かにそうね。出題の時点でチーズの形状やその柔らかさなどには触れられていなかったわ。
Oh.
そういうことです。
I see.
どうやらチーズも頭も柔らかかったのはバトラさんの方だったようです。
わけわかんねえぜ。
I think I'm starting to get it,
ス
kind
ラ
of.
イスチーズだったらどうしてナイフ1回で8個に分けられるんだよ。
お手元のペーパーナプキンで試してみたらどうですか？
Yeah, if you fold it up in a specific way.
これをスライスチーズだと思って。
つまりよ、こうしてさ、蛇腹に折るわけさ。何回折れば8個になるかな。
6回です。
To fold it accordion style, you alternate between upward and downward folds. Once you've done this 6 times, it looks like the side of an accordion.
普通のチーズならこんなに折ったらそこでちぎれちまうところだが、ナイフ以外じゃちぎれないことになってんだろ。
ええ、問題ありません。ナイフ以外では決して切れぬ魔法のチーズですから。
その畳んだのも真上からバサッと一刀両断にすりゃ。
確かに8分割だ。
ちょっと待てよ。これじゃ当分にはなってないぜ。
Well, there were never any rules that they had to be.
出題者は8つに切り分けろとしか言ってません。当分は条件に含まれませんでした。まあ折り方を工夫すれば当分も可能ですが、お頭の固い皆さんには説明が混乱するので省きます。
So, the takeaway here, because, I mean, the reason why we're going through this in the first place is to, consider the idea that we got to be thinking outside the box. And I feel like that's always been something that we had to have been doing. Is the idea here that there should be, like, an initial step that we're not considering with some, like, parts of the story that we've, been exposed to? A true think outside the box type of situation? For a while, everyone was stunned. Battler had reached a far better answer than 3 by thinking of the problem as a riddle. Erika had already known both answers and had even spotted the mistake made by the book. The others could do nothing but stare at those two in surprise.
すごいわ。頭が硬かったのは私たちなの？
これは乾杯ですな。
私たちは3次元で考えたけれど、どうもバトラ君とエリカちゃんは次元がもう一つ上だったみたいね。
I guess one could say that they flipped the they flipped the chessboard around with the cheese, you know. All right, we'll have to wrap this video up here. I am out of time, so I'll probably record a little bit more in the next one to make up for time loss, but you know, we gotta make sure we stick under that 200 video mark for this playthrough, if that'll happen. But no, this was an interesting one. Nothing like a good old riddle with cheese, right? Can't go wrong with cheese. Honestly, I love cheese. It is great. And I hope you guys love cheese too. Thank you all for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take it easy.